Squire, attend me.
Ready, sir.
Hey, give me that!
For house free! Oblivion! Get in there and fight, maggot! Leroy Jenkins!
Hello. It is Wednesday, July 6th, 2016, and you are listening to episode 68 of The Unstable Portal. And we are live. I'm Max Totally Futile Burzin. He is Martin Dustus Walters. Hello.
Hello.
And the one who you can't see at all is Joe Kernan Marsh. And he's eating a biscuit.
They can't see it all because this is a podcast.
That's true. If you're listening to it and you're not watching it, as you will be able to, either live on twitch.tv/cynicalnerds or on the YouTube channel, you're just listening to it and you can't see Joe anyway.
You didn't even plug the YouTube channel. Give the full one.
youtube.com/cynicalnerds. Boom. Done. Happy days.
You seem all awkward now. See, this isn't the same natural, relaxed Max it normally is. I've taken your not ugly, that's unfair, less attractive than me pictures off of my screen, so I don't have to look at you. So I'm just actually pretending none of this Twitch thing is happening, and I'm just like doing a normal thing where I'm just kind of looking about, doing that, maybe scratch my balls a little bit. I don't have to worry about the fact that people actually watch.
All right, fair enough.
So do that, Max. To pretend it's not here. None of it.
All right. Does that mean I need to start again? Because really,
no,
it'll take us about 20 minutes.
We're not doing this. This isn't episode 1, but this is actually episode 1. This is like new episode 1.
Kind of is episode 1.
I should turn this football off because I'm going to keep looking at that.
It's episode 68, but at the same time, it's kind of episode 1. Because what we have done is we've changed everything around. We weren't playing Hearthstone anymore. Well, Joe kind of is.
I do every now and then as well. We do a little bit.
But we couldn't do
my dailies.
Yeah, but that's you say that all the time, and then you end up getting legend. So it doesn't. Well, what?
Just doing my dailies.
Doing my dailies, got legend, whatever.
But yeah, so we're expanding it. This is no longer a Hearthstone podcast. This is now a mostly
Enter the Gungeon podcast. Yeah, Enter the Gungeon.
It's mostly a Blizzard Games podcast. But
why did I play Enter the Gungeon this week?
But we will also quite happily talk about Enter the Gungeon, just for Martin. We'll talk about like whatever games. Yeah, the new Blizzard IP, Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we said that because we said that on the last episode about 3 weeks ago, and we were going to do this one the week afterwards straight away because we suddenly had an epiphany. We're like, yeah, well, you know what? We shouldn't stop. We should just talk about Blizzard games. We do that. People who listen to this like Blizzard games, I'm guessing, because like that's what people do who play one Blizzard game. They play all of them. So we went out. I bought Diablo, played a little bit Diablo. I was like, this all right. Yeah, I don't mind this. And Joe's been smashing WoW even for some reason. Max has been hitting the WoW beta. I've been playing Overwatch, obviously, because you do that anyway. Poor Hearthstone got StarCraft. I didn't dust that one off.
No, StarCraft.
I need to.
I would like to play the new one, but I've spent the Steam sale just hit me right in the wallet. Right in the wallet.
Well,
all those Lego games I bought.
I've never played the StarCraft campaign. I've only ever played multiplayer.
What? You've never played the campaign?
I've never played the campaign. It's meant to be really good.
The first one was very good. I don't know about the Heartless Swarm. I actually only got halfway through it before I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Well, not because it was bad, but because I think Hearthstone or something. There was some other League of Legends. There was League of Legends in my life, so I was like, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were quite good at StarCraft once upon a time, weren't you? Once upon a time.
Yeah, I was quite good. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we told people how wonderful I am. I'm sure if Joe was playing it, he was just one league above me the entire time. That's pretty much how this seems to work.
I didn't even play it that much, like with multiplayer.
I was Diamond, but that was before. It's either just before or just after Masters came in. Back when Diamond was the actual top league.
Okay, so before you were the top league before the top league was something different.
Yeah, but then they added Masters in. I had Diamond, and then I never got Master. I had Diamond when Diamond was the top league, and then Masters came in, and I was still only getting Diamond. I never got to Masters.
Okay, fair enough. And then League of Legends happened, and you stopped playing altogether, basically.
Yeah, and then I made Silver in that, so no.
silver
That's
5
the
in League of
highest one,
Legends.
isn't it?
Yeah, I made silver 3. I think I was silver 3 or 2. Like Max got placed in silver 4 and then refused to play a game because he was beating everyone else, even though he fluked his way in there somehow. And he's like, "I'm pretty sure that I'm silver, actually, guys."
This is what you've probably done in Overwatch now as well, isn't it?
He's a lot better than me at Overwatch. So
Fluked your.
And I got placed 46 or 47, like high to mid 40s, like 46, 47, 48. I didn't hit 50. I didn't expect to. I'm not great at the game. Max,
You're better than me. You're better than me at the game. I placed 44.
Winning! Yes! Finally chose rubbish. I'm winning.
I had a horrible time.
Yeah,
Horrible.
well,
I just wanted to get them out of the way because they were bothering me. And now I don't care about the rank as much. Do you know what I mean? I'll just play. But for some reason, when it's your placement and it's like
you want to know
specific 10 games,
those games matter more than anything else in the world. Although I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if you win or lose them. It does just come down to how you perform. Maybe there is some impact on whether you win or lose. But
it wasn't people fucking me over. It was just me being bad. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, it comes down. Well, maybe.
There's a misnomer. See, the thing is, like, people are saying this, like, okay. It's how you play. How you play, like, is how you score. And I always think, yeah, but in that game, I mean, I've got notes there, I can't remember. In that game where I had, like, 2 Bastions, 2 Torbjorns running around, and I was trying to be, and like a tank of some kind, I was trying to be Mercy. So I don't know what else I could have done. I healed them. They all died instantly.
Hang on. Is this the one on the notes that says, lose, worst team ever, started no tank, no support, 2 Torbjorns, and got worse?
Yeah. Ended with 3 tank, 2 support. Never had a prayer. Good notes. I remember that. I remember it well. Fucking, that was the first one. It was one of those ones. The first 2 was so positive, like good games. We probably weren't as good, and we did win them in the end. I think both of them in sudden death. But then it just went to this game. It was like they're playing Torbjorns and no one picked up a tank. So when I died, I was playing Soldier. When I died, I picked up a support. And so no one picked up a tank, and everyone's just dying. I'm going, I'm doing everything I can. I'm standing here healing people, trying to be useful. But how useful can you be, and how much can you help your personal stats when everyone else is just like floor licking all over the place, like
floor licking,
knuckle dragging, floor licking, like whatever. I don't know, like, whatever.
My first game in the placements, we got insta-wiped at the start and 3 people left on my team and never got replaced. So to sit there for the whole match as 2 people, I was like, brilliant. This is what all 10 games are going to be like.
Oh, no. Did you have a lot of levers? Did either of you have a lot of levers? Because I played all of my placements in a team of 6.
Yeah, fact, look at him. He's like, I got rank 56. It's like, because you got carried by the other 5 people off of YouTube. Jesus, get all my YouTube friends to carry me.
I'll just say this right now. I got a higher rank than any of them. All right.
Yeah, because they're too busy carrying you. Like, you were just like going through there, like playing Rocket Woman, playing Farah, going hoop de doop de boosh, hoop de doop de boosh, like that, just shooting people. Well, they're like going, oh my god, I can't believe how I will save him. I may die to save Max's life, but it will be worth it. And you were just like hoop de doop de boo, like that. Oh.
I'm pretty sure it must have taken into account like maybe some of the beta MMR as well in the placement.
That's what I thought. I said that I reckon that it took into account. Yeah.
It's whether you won or lost plus your previous MMR.
I'm pretty sure it used your quick play MMR in order to work out who you would be playing in your placement games. So that there was some kind of matchmaking used for you to kind of have your first few games in it.
Yeah, exactly. But that then means, by that very definition, that you're going to be playing against people that it doesn't. If you've got a bad MMR from playing normal games, then you're going to be by definition playing other people who have got bad MMR because it's trying to match it evenly. So then you won't be able to score as many points. So I reckon it did play a larger point. I've seen a lot of people whinging. You know how on all these other games, every other game, they've always gone, look, we're not going to show you your MMR. We're not going to show it to you because you all just get upset and say that the system's broken because it's not fair because I am definitely better than that number. And I've seen so many of I've got these groups on Facebook that are like Overwatch based groups, which are really awful compared to the Hearthstone one we're in. They're really bad, but I find some of the stuff amusing, so I leave them there. And I heard it going, well, it's totally broke. I mean, this is unreasonable. You say, look, I should be getting more to this. I'm much better than you. That, but you're not. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, don't mean to be rude, because I'm not good either, and I don't ever actually say it to them. But it's like, you know, that's just how it is. It's like, this is why they don't show people the exact amount you're winning and losing in MMR. They go, I only gain a little bit when I win, and I lose a lot when I lose. They go, well, that's because the system kind of thinks that you're fluking it when you win. You're like, yeah, because you're pretty shit normally, and then you win one, so it's like, probably not really.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure what you're saying about them is right, but from the 6 placement games that we did, there was people that I was grouped with that did have better statistics than me. Like, we looked at the games because it separates them out. Like in your career profile, when you go in there, you've got a separate section from quick play to competitive of all of your statistics. And so since we'd obviously only played 10 games after our placement games, we went into there and we had a look at our stats. And actually, some of the people that had been given a lower rating than me had much better stats. Well, maybe not much better, but still
what do you mean
better
by
stats.
Like,
So better accuracy, more kills, more gold medals,
What if
more
you're a
time
healer?
on fire.
or a tank? Or...
Well, time on fire,
If
maybe.
you're getting general things, if you're getting general things like medals and time on fire, that's not really related to.
Well,
I mean,
we
time
don't.
on fire is a little bit.
Yeah,
but
we don't know what metrics they use. Like, so we just went through all of it, and genuinely, like the person I was comparing it with, like they outperformed me in pretty much everything that we looked at. So I don't understand why, when we played all of the same games together, and they had better statistics than I did I get a higher skill rating than they did? It just seems a little bit strange. I think there is some issues there that need to be worked out. Definitely some problems.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, like you say, that's probably down to the MMR, the previous MMR. That would make sense from casual play or something.
It could be. He'd always played sort of mostly solo queue, whereas I've generally always played with at least like 2 or 3 other people, like in groups. And I've played with some people that are quite decent at the game as well. And so I've played against people of higher MMR. So I guess if we've won some of those games, then my matchmaker rating is going to put me a little bit higher, maybe. I don't know. I suppose it could be something to do with it. But there's definitely a lot of problems with the competitive mode at the moment. It's a lot of fun, it really is, but there is some really annoying little bugs at the moment. They did drop a patch today, which has actually addressed some of the issues. Which, annoyingly, I put a video out like literally 2 hours before these patch notes dropped, because I thought their maintenance window appears to be Tuesday. Like, we're usually seeing these updates happen every Tuesday. So I was like, I'll wait till Wednesday to do my news video. That way they can't screw me by like dropping patch notes a few hours after I put a news video out. But apparently I was wrong. And of course, I'm not at all salty about it.
Then they went, oh, burn!
Someone sat there waiting for me to drop my news video. No, it's mostly just bug fixes. They've done some more tweaking. So a big problem that people have, and when I say people, I mean myself included, is with the system is the sudden death system. So currently in the game, if both teams successfully push the payload, you'll end up going to sudden death. There's an example of what will go to sudden death. Everyone's saying sudden death is far too coin flippy. It's not right. It's not fair. If you're the attacking side, you're pretty much gonna win, and it's generally on a map by map basis, and most of them are attacking favored. There are a few that are a little bit different. But what they're trying to do is they are band-aiding it at the moment. They are planning on taking sudden death out, I believe, in the future. Is what they've said. But for this season, we're going to have what they've put out there, because the changes that they want to make are too complicated to just patch. Like, it's going to have to be new season, new start, completely new way of doing everything. And so they've made some band-aid changes where they've now, on specific maps, sudden death only lasts a certain amount of time. And that's what the main thing in this patch is. Previously, across the board, it was 1 minute 45 seconds was what the attacking team had to capture the first point in sudden death. So whichever map that you were on when you were playing on, you then have to replay the very first point only, and you only had 1 minute 45 seconds to capture it.
Okay.
They've now changed it so that on specific maps they've got certain times. So Hanamura and Volskaya Industries are now 1 minute 35 seconds, and Temple of Anubis is 1 minute 30. So I guess Temple of Anubis was a little bit easier to take than say Hanamura or Volskaya. What is interesting is Dorado is now 1 minute 30 as well, along with Route 66 and Watchpoint Gibraltar being 1 minute 35 seconds.
Wow, Route 66, that's just unfair. How do you... Is the first point just literally getting the payload?
Getting the payload to the first checkpoint.
You have to get... It's not just getting the payload, it's getting to the test. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. It's not a first point.
Still a pretty easy one.
Yeah, it is.
And then Dorado's got a lower time, and I think Dorado is one of the hardest... The first checkpoint in Dorado is one of the toughest checkpoints to take. Yeah, when you're playing against a team that understands how to hold Dorado first checkpoint, it's one of the hardest ones to take. It really is.
Is Dorado the one with the little lift at the back that
No,
he always puts his turret on?
No,
That's that one.
That's
Dorado's
Hollywood.
Yeah, that's Hollywood. Dorado's the sort of I guess the Mexican or Central American looking one. It's kind of nighttime. There's lots of piñatas around everywhere. Yeah. Looks like there's been like a big street party.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Apparently us 40-something ranks don't know what we're talking about.
It might be one of those.
On that, but
it might be one of those things where in organized 6v6, it's difficult to take, whereas against people with randoms that aren't coordinated, it's actually not that difficult.
Because the run back is so far. Like, you just need to get one or two people picked up.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much push it the rest of the way. Once you're around the first two corners, then you're done, basically.
Yeah, once you're around the first two corners, you're done. But if they get a Symmetra set up, then the run isn't very far. They can kind of hold the high ground. So before you go around the corner, up until that main courtyard bit, you don't really, as the defenders, you don't really want to try and fight them there. You can kind of hold the high ground above and poke at them and maybe help Symmetra charge her teleporter up by getting some good orb damage down on them, maybe some random turrets about the place, just in sneaky little places that are going to help her charge her ultimate. But generally you're going to fall back and try and hold the sort of ramp with the archway over it, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, that's the place that you want to hold, and that's where it becomes quite difficult to push in. What tends to happen is a lot of times in games, especially like in pickup games of randoms, is everybody just pushes forward and just dives straight in and gets stuck in, and actually you've not really got any kind of advantage there. So the attackers end up having the advantage because you're on top of their spawn room. So any deaths for you are, if you're defending, are really going to hurt you, whereas any deaths for them are pretty much nothing.
Really punishing, yeah.
Yeah, and so then that allows you to get your snowball rolling, which will then push you to the first checkpoint really easily. Whereas
that's a big problem on a lot of the maps, with the difference between pre-made teams and kind of solo queue, because there's a load of points where, like, if you just stay back a bit and defend, like, you have such a huge advantage compared to, I know, like, people are always saying, oh, don't rush forward and you know, go to the attacker's entrance and stuff, but like on specific maps it's even more important to stay back. And like you said, on that map, just the second corner, defending all around there and having the high ground there as well. That's pretty important.
Yeah, it becomes quite difficult to push into. But yeah, I mean, like, the balance issues of this game have got to be absolutely crazy. I mean, like, one of the good examples of it is Temple of Anubis. Like, it's so hard to attack that second objective in a pickup game. But actually, once you get into a game of organized 6v6, you can coordinate properly with your team. Actually, it's not quite so impossible to take. It's just about getting your ultimates together and timing everything correctly, and you can get in there, you know, pretty easily and push them off. As opposed to playing in a pickup game where it feels like the enemy are all grouped together and your team are running around like headless chickens the whole time. Just because of the positioning of everything being right outside their spawn room, they just kind of naturally group up. They don't need to understand that they need to be grouped up or how to group up and how to play together. The map really naturally forces the defending team to do it, so it can be really difficult to push that in a pickup game. Very tough indeed.
So anyway, like we normally do the reviews first.
The which?
The reviews, the reviews, the iTunes reviews. You normally mention them.
I mean, the complete lack of structure of this show is
Yeah, I know.
It's
And you know
getting
what? I
worse.
didn't mention it before we started. I was going to say, look, we should start with Hearthstone because, like, you know, people are here for the Hearthstone. This is what we've always done. We're expanding. We're doing something new. We should ease people in. We were like, no, fuck that. Gungeon
Straight
and
to
Overwatch. Whatever.
Max
We
has
haven't
been
even
dying
talked about
for-
Gungeon properly yet, but yeah, I can't help but talk about Overwatch. Somebody brought it up and I just went with it. I couldn't stop. I was just...
I'd also like to point out, this isn't relevant to the people who are listening, but I have, and I think Max has no way to interact with chat on Twitch because I can't type on my phone, I can't type on the computer. I can see it, I can read it, and I appreciate all the messages, but I can't reply at the minute because Twitch is messing up.
Well, you can reply to them verbally if you can see them. That's one more
No,
thing
no,
that
no,
I can do.
no, that gets annoying for people who are listening, so I don't like doing that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, reviews. Apparently, we've had some. Even though we
Yeah.
shut the podcast down, we did actually have
Really?
a review.
Yeah,
Big reviews since finishing it.
yeah. My favorite one is we did the one where we went right. Like it was really nice, guys. We all had a little cry, we had a little sob. Like a couple of days later, we had a review, and like the guy, because it was from France, the review, and obviously we can't check every single iTunes thing. Like he gave us a little email just saying, "Oh, I've left you a review. Like really like your stuff," and you know we really appreciated it. But it's kind of like, sorry, but we're not doing it anymore. And then because
Okay.
of that, gone, guys. Actually, I tell you what, Raccoon Dad, we came back for you. That's why we're here.
Yeah, we came back for you. Your review is what pulled us back in.
You touched me right here.
All right. Well,
I touched my chest for those who've only got audio.
thank God you justified your actions.
That could have been awkward.
Yeah, no.
All right. So Raccoon Dad from France, he says, I like this podcast. So British. Oh, now I see why Martin wanted this review read out so badly. So British. Special award for Martin's dynamism. Dynamism.
I can't say that word. It's Dynamism.
Dynamism.
His dinosaurism.
We looked it up. It's actually an English word. We thought he's winging it. He's doing a little bit.
To be fair, more than half of their words are our words anyway, since
Yeah,
those
true.
bastards came over here in 1066 and forced
They're
it
like
all
a
upon us.
dynamo.
Yeah,
Right.
so he likes how dynamic Martin is. He brings the energy.
Dynamic. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So thank you to Raccoon Dad, who also says we're very entertaining and informative. But we, of course, have absolutely zero structure to this show whatsoever. And I don't believe that is ever going to change. We
do try. I mean, you have spent ages sorting because it was even harder writing these show notes out because there's like multiple games. And the worst thing is like the point that we decided, we went, you know what, like let's do all the Blizzard games because that'll be easier. And then I was like, hold on, I said I couldn't do the other one because I don't have enough time to play one game, and now I've got to play 5. This isn't fair.
Well, you didn't have enough time to play the other game because you were playing a lot of Overwatch, to be fair.
that's true.
And so that's what we've done. And like, this is one of those things where like Diablo's really easy to do. Diablo is the game that you can play when you're half asleep. Like, you don't need to be awake to play Diablo and enjoy it. Like, Overwatch, you kind of need to be able
defending
to...
all those Diablo fans.
Like, I'm sure
We're
they're with
going in
me.
deep.
I'm sure they're with me. I'm sure they understand what I'm talking about. It's like you just put it on Torment 6. It's fine. You don't need to go to Torment 12 or whatever it's up to now. You know, you can just have a nice chilled, like, just going to chill out, play some Diablo. Joe plays a lot of Diablo. He knows what I'm talking about.
There's a thing I've seen all over the place this week that I was thinking, you know, I should really look into this because we're going to do a podcast that talks about Blizzard games. Where it's like Blizzard put some advert up and they're going, oh, is this Diablo 4 that's going to be happening? They're looking for game developers for a new Diablo-based.
Oh, yeah, they're looking for a director for a new project based on the Diablo franchise.
Or experience with Diablo, I think it says, isn't it?
I
Like
can't remember.
The
I
person
remember
they're
seeing
hiring
this
has
as
to
well.
have experience with playing Diablo. So I assume it's
really?
for Diablo 4. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think
at this point.
that's the big assumption. And I think that's a fair assumption as well.
How long ago was Diablo 3?
It was a while ago now. It was it was
It's
such a
like 3 years ago, maybe 4 coming on.
It's a good while.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
lost
think.
track of time. Time has no meaning for me anymore.
I'm gonna look it up, guys. It's fine. It's fine. We
I
got
was
it.
going to do that, but I was hoping someone else would do a good job.
Yeah, 4 years ago, May 15th, 2012.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's
And it
been
was
a good
awful.
while. It was an awful launch.
Thanks for all your money.
Oh, the real
The
money
auction
auction
house.
house.
Yeah,
Holy,
the real money
how
auction
did
house.
they? How did that even go live with that? What the hell?
Don't know. It must have been one of those things that seemed like such a good idea in theory. Such a good idea in theory. When you go into these kind of things with nothing but good intentions, when you're just one of those people that's like, nobody's going to try and exploit this in any way at all or ruin anybody else's fun in any way at all, because that's not the way the world works. Everyone's really nice. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And we could do all these really cool, fun stuff. And then they release it and it's like, oh yeah, the world's full of complete and total bastards.
It wasn't even
better
that.
get
It's
rid of
like,
this.
let's take a game that's all about loot and how fun getting loot is and make it so that your entire game revolves around camping the auction house to get your gear.
Waiting for that one drop to appear. Compared to what it is now, where literally a legendary will drop just because you took a walk in the right direction. It's a far-flung distance from it.
Because it wasn't even really about the real money aspect of it. It was literally just the auction part of it.
What's the point? What's the point in playing it?
Yeah, because like there'd just be people who farm all the best items, and then you just buy your gear, like a whole set of gear that's good enough, and then you're done with the game.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
then the
it's like-
game was just farming money instead of farming items, which just wasn't as exciting or fun.
Yeah. Oh, look at my bank balance of pretend money to buy items that I no longer need because I already bought the items. I feel they've done this the wrong way around. Yeah,
Well,
but
I
a
guess
game like that, you're playing it. It's like going, where would the fun be in raiding in WoW if they went, oh, here's all the gear, and you're like, you're just here to like defeat the bosses, and you do it once, and then you'd be like, I don't want to do this again. Like, I've got the gear. I look pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's weird. I don't understand it. Why?
Except raiding is a bit more I know, I get your point, but
Yeah,
obviously
it's not
raiding is a bit more involved, and like you'd still have to learn it and stuff. There'd still be a learning curve,
Yeah,
and it would
yeah.
last a bit longer. Whereas Diablo there was just like nothing to do.
Kill stuff.
Yeah.
You walk into a dungeon and you press your right mouse button a few times and you're done. Like that's Diablo. But it's strangely cathartic. Like I get why people enjoy Diablo. It's nice. It's calming. And there is more. Yes, that's a good word. I know.
I don't know what it means.
There is more like relaxing, like therapeutic. I guess is a better word than relaxing. Therapeutic. Do you understand what therapeutic means?
Yeah, I get that one. My God.
Don't worry, it's the opposite of dynamism.
Yeah, that's why you don't get it.
Yeah. I am a dynamo.
But yeah, I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit because I don't really want to start talking about World of Warcraft right now. But what they're doing with Legion is very much taking some good ideas from Diablo and putting it into WoW, where actually WoW, there is a little bit more to it and there is a little bit more required in order for you to farm your gear in World of Warcraft. Unless, of course, you're just doing really easy content over and over again because you're trying to farm 150,000 Apexis crystals for a stupid donkey. I mean, that would be a crazy thing to do.
I'm a farmer. What can I say?
You are. Okay, so maybe we should talk a little bit about Hearthstone, like Martin said. That is where our namesake comes from. That is what forced us upon you listeners in the beginning. So we
little note at the beginning of the show is like, we do talk about Hearthstone. Skip to this point if you want it. If you want all the great content before, just sit through it.
Well, no. I'm going to force them to sit through it. They can listen to you.
Try and follow the show notes.
I've had to scroll down on the show notes to get to the Hearthstone stuff.
Oh, there's a bit here.
We have Hearthstone stuff.
It says here the brawl. Well, see, no one fact checked that this week, did they?
Yeah, let's get rid of that. Delete that. We'll pretend that wasn't there. Okay.
That wasn't there. They'll never notice. None of them will ever know. It's fine.
Editing the notes live. Do it live.
It's all good. It's all good.
We have the US Championship results. This is only 2 weeks old, Max. Busy last week, couldn't do it.
Yes.
Madonna won. He was Canadian.
Yes. See, I was skipping past it for the very good reason that I know none of us have got a thing to say about that bit. However,
he's
there is
Canadian. Edge was hype.
That's pretty important.
Okay, well, congratulations to the Canadian. I'm happy that one North American country was better than another North American country.
I
Congratulations.
can't wait for BlizzCon, actually. For BlizzCon, I'll be watching it all. Watching the StarCraft, watching the Hearthstone. It's almost weird now. Like all this stuff, I get how it works. I get how it's like all building up the tension, the storyline to make sure people get in through the year for like the big main event, kind of like how League of Legends have done it. But League of Legends works a lot better, I think, like a couple of seasons, and it kind of goes on each week, slowly building, rather than like, obviously you have the ladder seasons and everything like that. And then these, like the entry ones, and then the final big ones, the ones that will, the winner will get a seat at BlizzCon. But it kind of all feels like it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a great tournament. Like, well done, he won. Like, all he's done is win the ticket to the final table. I want to watch the final table. I don't want to watch the satellites. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but that's for you, somebody that's
Yeah,
not
I know, I get that,
super
I get
into watching Hearthstone at the moment. And you know, you used to be super into watching StarCraft too. I remember when you and me used to watch pretty much all of Code S and even some of Code A.
I watched a load of Code A as well. Yeah,
like, exactly. And like nowadays, it's like, oh, I'll watch StarCraft at BlizzCon because that's pretty cool. But outside of that, it's like, oh, do you know what? I don't know any of the build orders. I don't know what anyone's doing.
Do you still watch LoL?
Occasionally, yeah. Very occasionally.
What do you watch? No time anymore.
I watch Overwatch.
You watch Overwatch. What do you watch?
Recaps on LoL.
What do you watch?
I watch the recaps for the American LoL or the American LCS.
Oh, American one. What's what the NA's ever done? They've never done anything.
It's only because I don't really know anything about the EU teams, and the US ones always have like videos of the players and stuff, and I don't know.
All you need to know is that Fnatic bought me a beer once, so Fnatic for life.
When we were watching StarCraft 2, they bought you a beer when we were watching StarCraft in a pub.
Yeah, and the first 50 people that turned up got a beer on the Fnatic sponsored type thing. So boom, Fnatic have my support for life. Go Fnatic.
And you still don't watch them.
Oh, actually, no. I think the LoL World Championships, like the semis and finals, and if Fnatic's in it, I am actually genuinely interested. That's the thing with esports. You need to have an interest in. It's like picking a team. Like any sports, you need to pick a team. If you're, football, American football, baseball, ice hockey, basketball, whatever it is, you have a team. Like normally your hometown team, but it doesn't work with internet sports because the teams, even if they're based somewhere, like say in Europe or London or Paris or wherever they're based, the players won't even be, they'll be from all over the place. Now that's fine, obviously, but those players then rotate Korean. So fast. Yeah, no, we'll be Korean as well. And you're like, hold on, wait a minute. I thought I was supporting those big EU plays. But if you have a team or a franchise that you support, I think it makes it a lot better. Things like, support Dignitas, support Fnatic, support choose one and stick with it, because I think it makes it a lot more interesting rather than trying to do it on country lines, because obviously that's what StarCraft was. StarCraft was like, the foreigners against the Koreans, and I suppose within League we have like sort of the NA EU. I suppose that's another way that it's done, but then that doesn't help when you're just watching a normal watching season. LCS. Yeah, it's like, this is all EU. You want to have that team. You can have the general team, but you want to have that team that's your team.
Yeah, I get it's kind of difficult in esports, especially since they actually change players a fair bit as well. And it's like you don't even like find some players that you like, but then they might get split up.
Well, this is the problem as well. Is the team the five? Just stick with League, obviously, because it's one of the most advanced ones and the ones I know better. But is the team those 5 players, or is the team the franchise? Is the team Fnatic, or is it those 5 players? And if 4 of those 5 players all leave together and go to Evil Geniuses, am I following those players? Because I really like those players. I'm a big fan of Fnatic and the team, but those 4 players were the team for me. This isn't like football or any other sort of real sport where you have a squad of like 20, 30 people where they're never going to have such a massive turnover that it doesn't look familiar year to year. Okay, you may lose 2 or 3 star players or 2 or 3 mainstays and come in, but you don't notice that because it's a small amount in a big pool of people. Whereas if you have only 5 people, that is the team. That is all you know. There aren't really substitutes or anything like that. Maybe 1, but even that's the most. And half of them leave. Do you follow the players or do you follow the franchise? I mean, that's half of, I think, why I find it hard sometimes. You have your favourite players in Hearthstone, but obviously now Hearthstone's got to the size it is. It's very difficult to like rely on your favourite players to be there. I mean, Kibler can't be there every time. He's normally
casting.
commentating.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
That's my 2 cents on that.
I agree. It is weird. It's not. I think you are losing the main thing, which is what you said, which is like, that's my hometown. That's who I'm going to follow. And it's like, I think one of the big reasons that you've locked on to Fnatic so much for buying you that beer isn't just because, they bought you that beer. It's because it's fun to have a team that you want, that you root for. It makes watching their game so much more exciting. It gives you that ability to sit there and be like, I want Fnatic to win. I need Fnatic to win. Like, that's going to give me a buzz if Fnatic wins.
Yeah,
as opposed to
the beer thing's just a story and an excuse, basically. A reason. You need a reason. Like, the reason's normally I live in that town or that country, but you need a reason. And my reason is they bought me a beer because it's better than any other team has given me.
But it's really hard to find a reason to follow a team. Like, I watch so much esports and just think, I'm just watching it because I want it to be a good game. It's so rare that I get to watch it. And like you say, unless it's a big rivalry, unless it's an EU versus NA game, and it's like, then obviously I'm rooting for the EU team because then I'm rooting for the home team, and that's how it goes. And of course, if it's anybody versus a Korean team, I'm voting for anybody because you're rooting for the underdog in that case most of the time.
So we're going to hear this. Risque.
But yeah, it's difficult to find reasons to really get into a team, I find, when it comes to esports compared to traditional sports. That's very true. But we've gone way off topic.
We should be talking about HOTS, not LOL, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, when we use HOTS, I forgot that was a game.
I watch HOTS tournaments all the time. It's really great.
I have never seen a professional game of Heroes of the Storm. I will say that now. I think I've maybe played total 4 hours of Heroes, maybe
I played quite
more.
a bit of Heroes. I like Heroes.
You played quite a bit, didn't you, Max? What?
I wanted to level up. I can't remember if it was.
He wanted to get the card back.
That was it. The card back. That was why I did it. Card back. Yep, that's right.
As soon as he hit level 10, I think it was the card back. He's like, done.
Out of there. I'm done playing Valor. I just pretty much just played Valor in about 10 to 20 games or something, whatever it took for me to level up, and I was like, right, done.
I like HOTS. I like what they did with it. I like where they went. It does feel sluggish. That's your thing with it, Max. Is it feels sluggish? I agree. It feels sluggish. Wow.
Yeah, my problem is...
I promise we will be back on Hearthstone in like 5 to 10 minutes.
Sometime during this show, we may talk about some stuff in Hearthstone that may or may not be 2 weeks old, but carry on.
Well, the first one was always going to be all over the place. Fair. No.
Yeah, it's true.
The
first podcast is going to be us trying to figure out how this works and getting into a good rhythm for it.
No, I'm just like, we haven't spoken. We've done one episode of this for like 2 months, and we've quadrupled the amount of content we have. It's verbal diarrhea, which I have a problem with.
I would very much encourage everybody to, if you can, watch it on YouTube just for the bodily functions that Martin performs live in front of his webcam, because it is a treat.
My best mug.
Oh, you got an R2D2 mug. I know you can't see me, but I am holding
it. You should you leave them in suspense till they turn up. Oh my god.
But I was holding up a stormtrooper. I was holding up a stormtrooper glass. I know you can't see it, but
I have the stream open now. It's kind of working.
You'll see it in a minute then, or a few
I
seconds.
see it. Sorry. Stream delay at its finest. Right.
Streamlay working well. I need to work out a way so that I can send you the picture of my pretty face at the same time as sending it to the stream, but you'll have to figure that out. If anyone does know, please feel free to drop me a line on Twitter or something and just say, you idiot, it's as easy as doing this. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate that.
I just noticed that your room is green, but
my room is not green.
But it's not invisible and shit.
My chroma key is not turned on, because if I turn the chroma key on, you would just see the black that is behind this transparent image anyway, so I figured, what's the point? I could do something cool.
But you could have put like a beach or something, or
make it look like I'm just chilling on the beach.
Yeah, if you turn it on, it just look like Joe's background.
That's true.
What I do like about it is the fact that I've got this
I've actually got a green screen. This is just fake.
Fake black.
Look.
Joe's actually in a really well lit photo studio.
I'm actually at the beach.
Wow,
didn't want
that's amazing.
show
Yeah,
off.
I like the fact that I've got this like pillowcase thing over the back of my chair as well, because I found that for some reason the chroma key did not do very well with with whatever the material is that's on my chair. So Nicola made me this nice thing for the back of my chair.
I wonder why you had like Shrek was your chair. I thought you killed it and put him there.
It's just like a pillowcase she made by cutting the bottom off of the thing behind me, and then just turned it into like half a pillowcase and stuck it over the top of the chair. It's
Don't
great.
belittle her.
Did you do that to the whole chair so it looks like you're just floating if you zoom out?
No, I mean, but it does cover everything above the desk. So yeah, I guess it does look like I'm just floating if you zoom out. Yeah, I won't belittle her stuff. She makes her own dresses and everything. But anyway, apparently, I promised we'd talk about Hearthstone.
I mean, it's okay when we stick to computer games, but when we go on to tailoring, I feel we're really pushing the boundaries.
Very true. Isn't tailoring just men's clothes?
Oh my God, let's not go into it.
All right, so a couple of weeks
IGN
ago,
did an interview with
a
Blizzard.
couple of weeks ago, IGN did an interview with Blizzard. This was on our original show notes, which we were going to do this episode about 2 weeks ago. So this was fresh information then. So if this is something you guys are already aware of, I do apologise, but I'm sure you would love to hear our opinions on it all.
I mean, the
anyway.
thing is, we don't need to go over it all. There's just a couple of things that I found interesting when I was reading through it. There's it says that the theme of the Old Gods was decided around July 2015, which is about 9 months before it actually came out. So that shows how far ahead they're planning the new sets. Like the stuff that's going to come out all this year will already be mostly planned. I mean, obviously they don't just do this off the on the fly. They just go, I don't know, oh God, quickly throw something together.
So wait. What you're trying to say is that Team 5, I almost get all confused with all the different team numbers at Blizzard. Team 5 are more organised than this podcast. That's pretty
who would
impressive.
know? Right.
Pretty impressive.
Is Joe actually like, just don't let your screen go off, Joe, because then I'm like, what?
Yeah, my screen is my light now, actually.
Yeah.
When I switched to the light. I was like...
Also,
Anyway.
they talked about the most interesting thing I found from it was the talking about the Twin Emperors, because it was supposed to be similar to Reno Jackson, but because Reno is so popular, they had to change how that worked, because apparently Reno didn't see a lot of play in their sort of internal testing, so when that came out, obviously before this, and obviously the Twin Emperors have been planned for a while beforehand, you can't obviously have too many cards where it's like if you only have one of each card in the deck, then this does something incredibly strong. If you make 30 of those cards, then that's the best deck. It's no longer a hindrance. That's just like, wow, you've just helped us, thank you. So that obviously, I think having two cards that, like, Reno's already got is a deck-defining archetype. There's the Reno lock, and Reno, lots of things got played.
Hold on a sec. So Twin Emperors was originally going to work like Reno. So if you had no more than one of each card still remaining in your deck, you would get both Emperors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was originally if the same as Reno. Yeah. If you only had one card, then you summon the second guy.
Oh, that's pretty bonkers.
Well, yeah, but that's fine if Reno Jackson's not played, because their point was they didn't expect Reno Jackson to see play. So, like, well, this will be a fun little card that you have to do a big downside. But if you've already got a Reno Jackson deck which is like strong, like Reno lock, then like giving them another like bonkers strong card, one of the strongest cards in the expansion, then it's like, wow, we're really pushing the already strong deck a bit too far. It just shows how you have to kind of tone stuff down as you designing the cards as you release other stuff. That's why the link of those two things, that you're planning 9 months ahead, but you don't know how the meta is going to change and how people are going to discover and like combo the cards together to actually make things happen. And then you're like, oh, wow, we're going to have to tone this down or tune this up a little bit because of how it panned out with the stuff that we released afterwards.
But that's why it's fun. But that's what happened with Patron, and that's what happened with Secret Paladin. Like, neither of those they thought would be particularly strong when they made them, and ended up being kind of the best decks
Well, I mean, if they couldn't see Patreon coming, I mean, they're crazy.
Well, nobody saw Patreon coming. Don't you remember? Like everyone was talking about saying like, oh, this might kind of work. It might be good in some fun decks. Nobody was like, this is broken. It's going to be the greatest deck that Hearthstone has ever seen, and it will destroy the ladder and make everybody very angry. Like that just wasn't there. It wasn't on anybody's mind. And and even with Mysterious Challenger, people were like, yeah, that's a cool card, but Paladin of Secrets aren't that good. And all of a sudden, it turns out when you have 5 of them, they're really good. Well, not even 5 of them, like 3 or 4, when they're all played at once, and it takes them out of your deck. Like so many good things about Mysterious Challenger.
I mean, that one surprised me. Mysterious Challenger, I never thought was going to be good. I don't think. I'd love to I should go back and listen to the reviews of cards we did. I'm really interested now to know. Now you can be like Mr.
Where we got them all
pointed. Oh, past Unstable Portal is so stupid.
Well, we've still got all the show notes. I should be able to figure out which ones was the right episode, and I can give it to you if you like.
I think I can easily go back and listen to the Patreon one because it was in a wing, so it's quite easy each week to week. We did the wings.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Black Book.
Yeah, that's true. Mysterious Challenger. That was That was an expansion, though, wasn't it? Yeah, that was the tournament. But yeah, we could figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. That's so. I haven't hit legend in Hearthstone. Screw Hearthstone. Apparently, you don't get to hit legend if you don't play. This is something. This is what I wanted to say about Hearthstone. Now, I'm just saying, like, two things. And so I'd like to say thank you to Eric and Monica for being 2 of our biggest fans, and I'd like to say screw Zeus because he's always higher than me in our Clash Royale clan. Linking to that, Clash Royale this week got tournaments. Now I'm just saying this is a free mobile game where it's like, well, it's quite nice, got this ladder system, it's pretty good, but like once you get to the top of the ladder system, which I haven't, but like I know people that have, some of my friends, it's kind of like, well, we're in Legendary Arena now, but kind of what do we, what's our real goal here? So they brought in tournaments. It's like they worked that one out pretty quickly. It's almost like they want to make money from their game, but no, Blizzard don't want to do that. Wouldn't want to do that. I mean, it's even interesting that like how they do it. I wonder if Blizzard could do the same thing. If you can create your own tournament, you create the tournament, you set the rules, however you want to do it. 8 people, like best of 3 or whatever rules you want to say, but you have to pony up the real money or the in-game gold to create it. And that in-game gold or money then buys the prize pot of X amount of packs or whatever for like first, second, third, however you want to split it. I mean, would that not be great? Would that not be fun that you're playing, like whoever's created it, like ponies up the thing. I mean, you could even do it as like the split between the people, but I think it would encourage people if you could do it either way. Like you could create your own one, because you could create your own one and do like community ones, or you could do clan ones. Not that they have clans in Hearthstone. Saying, going way off topic.
No, I don't think the problem is I don't think anyone's going to disagree with you that it's not a good idea. Like everyone's been asking for it for so long.
I would come back for that. Why won't they do it?
I guess it's just one of those things where they just haven't felt it's that high up on a priority list at any point. It might be something that's quite difficult to do. Do you remember the bug like a little while ago that was making a tournament UI show up on a tablet or on mobile? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a while ago, but yeah.
That was a long time ago now. So it was something that they were talking about, they were looking at. I guess maybe they haven't
fairly
quite...
sure they said they were working on it.
Maybe they haven't figured out exactly how to do it yet.
I'm sure they've got this plan. Like, they've probably planned out all the features that they can come up with at the moment and then put it out over a number of years. And probably tournaments is one of those, we'll plan this for like the 2-year stage or something when we know people are going to start losing interest in the game.
Yeah. When it's kind of like what we have squeezed every last cent out of the people who have been here since open beta, and then they're like, they're starting to drop off. Tournaments, bring them back.
I mean,
and then I'll be there like, I'm coming.
It's not in like a super negative or like they're not being evil about it, but like they obviously have to plan out and think of keeping the game alive over a certain amount of time. Like you can't just do everything. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it'd be great in an ideal world, I suppose, the best game ever created, but it just doesn't work like that in terms of money and time and stuff. So
You
I'm
mean
sure they planned it to be the most
They ca-
impactful and useful for them time to release it.
So they can't just wing it. See, I'm very
Yeah.
much on the side of winging it. As Martin knows, for the amount of time I got this podcast to set up this evening, the amount of time it took to get this podcast set up this evening. Look, I even
well,
believe
you
in
only
winging
had
it when
2
it comes.
weeks. You only had 2 weeks. Just saying.
Hey, I had
Half an
most
hour
of it.
late. I had 2 weeks.
To be fair, half an hour late is pretty good, like, especially for us. Normally we sit down at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and be like, right, we're going to record the podcast. All of a sudden, we're starting at 10 o'clock. We're like, hang on,
I
what the
came
hell
here at
happened?
7:45 to make sure it was ready. My kids were going, Daddy, don't go. Just sit and give me a cuddle a bit longer. It's like, no, Max needs me. No. and they were like, but please, Daddy, we never see you. You work so hard and you're always doing stuff with Max. I was like, he needs me. Max needs me now.
I have to
And then I come
recap
here
the
and Max,
story.
and I was like, are we ready to go then? It's 8 o'clock. And Max was like, oh, yeah, better start setting that stuff up, hadn't I?
I was busy smashing mobs with two-handed swords because Fury
well.
Warrior is awesome.
As long as we've all got our priorities straight.
It was important, right?
I did take the kids into bed. I'm being
Oh,
facetious.
I know you tucked your kids.
I
into
don't want the RSPCA coming there.
bed. Yes. All right. Stop the RSPCA coming. RSPCC. I don't think you want the RSPCA coming for your children.
And not the birds one either. Not the birds one. Royal Society
The
for
birds one?
Protection.
There's a
Yeah,
separate
R-
bird. Why do
RSP
birds get one?
I don't know. People don't like birds.
That's not
They
really
can
fair.
fly. I mean, I don't think they should get extra protection. They can fly. They've got it built into their genetics.
Why isn't
I
there
mean,
like a rodent
know what?
one or a...
Yeah, it's an animal. It's an animal. And birds and animals aren't the same things. Oh my god.
You guys carry on.
That seems massively unfair.
You guys carry on.
I'm
It's
going to start
fine.
an
It's fine.
anti-bird association.
The Royal Society for Cruelty to Birds.
Big Bird will come around your house and he's gonna be eating yellow feathers.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get off
Oh
of
wait,
Big Bird.
before we leave, are we about to leave Hearthstone?
I was about to try and leave Hearthstone, but I was
All
going to
right.
ask you if you were okay with leaving Hearthstone. So you carry on. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say one of the decks I tried.
Oh, give it to me. Like, I want to play Hearthstone. There's a few times this week I wanted to play it, but it's like I
So
want a
you-
new deck, but like I can't be bothered to make it. So can there be a UI feature where like someone just makes me decks? Sorry. go
Okay,
on.
you can try this. I don't know if you'll want to, but you
What
know
happened?
my absolute love for Yogg. So basically,
Yeah.
every deck ever now has to have Yogg in it. And I had a Warlock bunch of quests to do, so I was like, oh, no problem. There must be a good Yogg Warlock deck. So I was feeling lazy, and I pulled one off Hearthpwn, and it was Renounce Yogg RNG Fiesta, which is a Yogg Renounce Darkness
What?
deck. And
Wow.
What's the now start?
terrible.
The one that replaces all of your
Oh,
cards with
cards.
cards from another class and then reduces
yeah.
their cost by 1.
Yeah. But it doesn't replace Yogg, so
Sorry, all of your class cards. Yeah.
so you're fine. Yogg's
Wow.
still in there. Even after renouncing Darkness. Seems a bit weird.
Big win streak.
Okay.
Big win streak on that one.
Yeah, big 1-5. Yeah. And
So that daily quest was getting done.
gave up and finished it with Zoo with like a win streak.
Standard. Got to break out the zoo.
I loved the idea of it though. It was a cool idea. But like Renounce Darkness just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work because apart from the fact that it's giving you bad cards, like you're giving up 2 mana anyway, even if you're gaining back 1 mana on each of the cards you're going to play.
Yeah, it doesn't. Does it
It
draw
just
you a
doesn't
card?
work out. Like it doesn't draw any cards. And that was the other thing. You end up playing it and then I'm like, oh, I have 4 cards left in my hand and I played 2 cards. Oh, my hand is
It should
empty.
replace itself. It should
Like-
replace itself,
Yeah.
and it would be a bit better.
A little bit better. Just
Well, no, because then the cost of the 2 mana would then be offset by the fact, like Joe's right. If you have the first 2 cards aren't cheaper, you've already spent that 2 mana previous. So if you drew a card, if it like cycled, then the 2 mana would be worth that anyway. That would be fine. So, yeah, IMO.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It would make the card slightly better because it's still pretty terrible in general.
And you're also packing in worse Warlock cards into your deck because you want as many as possible to change with Renounce. But then you're also getting back bad cards. Then the mana issue that you're saying, yeah, it just doesn't work yet. Needs more. Maybe. Yeah, it needs more good class Warlock cards, I think. Or maybe you just need to play it differently. I mean, the guy did say he got to rank 5 with it. So it might just be a case of playing it, and like you play Yogg, where sometimes it's a bad idea to play it. You're ahead already. It might be the same with Renounce. Like you already drew a good curve, and you're dominating the board, and you don't really need to play Renounce. Whereas I was going, turn 2, coin Renounce. Which, yeah, that was a terrible way to play it, really.
Change my cards. I am done. I am done with these cards. I want new cards, please. Right, it just takes
a few games. You have to get like a little bit used to, like Yogg. You're so excited that you drew Yogg and you got 10 mana, and it doesn't matter how many spells you played previously. Use 2 spells or whatever. You're going to play Yogg anyway, even if you're winning in it. It'll lose you the game just because you're so excited that Yogg's in your hand.
Just because it's Yogg.
So you have to get over that stage, and then you can play the deck properly. So it's probably the same with Renounce as well.
Fair enough.
I don't know if this is relevant. I don't know if you actually. I'll ask you, Max. Someone said, "What do we think about the CS:GO fraud thing?"
Are we
do you want to touch on that? I know that's not a thing.
Are we on to YouTube controversies?
This is
now,
with the gambling stuff, isn't it?
See, the thing is, like,
yeah,
I work in the gaming industry. I work in a casino. And like gambling is the most horrific, awful thing ever. Now it pays my bills, and it's going to happen anyway. Yeah, but it's like you like alcohol. Alcohol destroys lives. I don't worry about people who work in the pub, but either it's like.
I know. I just enjoyed the way you put it. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, but gambling is like an awful thing, like an awful destroyer, an awful addiction. It's one of the worst addictions, gambling. The problem with gambling is that you can't overdose on it. One day you wake up in a soggy mess of sick and stuff from any other, from drugs and from alcohol and anything like that, and you can have almost died and think, oh crap, like this has gone too far. You just run out of money, and then you sit around casinos eating the free buffet. Gambling's an awful thing, and like doing anything where you're like trying to encourage people, and especially underage people, like it's like really bad, really seedy. Like we should probably explain it further, but I don't know if we should go into it. I just want to say that it's like gambling's horrible, and it's my job.
It was basically 2 streamers who were constantly putting up YouTube videos of like playing on the CS:GO gambling sites and winning loads of money. And then somebody found out that both of them on the site that they gamble on all the time, they are like, oh, we just happened to find this site, and you can use this site if you want to. And then somebody found out that they're actually both co-owners or founders of that website, and basically have access to be able to rig whatever winnings or do whatever they want with it. And
it's not even about doing the rigging the winnings. You didn't have to rig the winnings. Like the fact that like some people I think have said as well that it's not illegal. Well, I'm fairly sure it is illegal to like this because they've got in trouble for it before for advertising things, but without saying that you have an invested interest.
Yeah. You have to disclose in your video. I know a lot about this because this is what I do now. You have to disclose in your video, like actually in the video. Like I don't think you can even just put it in the description either. You have to say that if you are talking about any kind of product or any kind of company or anything like that, if you are promoting it in any way, you have to disclose if you have been paid by them, if it's a sponsored deal, or any kind of involvement you have with them. If you work for them or if you own them, you have to let the people that are watching your video know that you have that connection to that company. That's the law. That's the law in the US anyway. I'm not sure what it is in the rest of the world, but these guys are on YouTube and they live in America, so they are bound by the laws of the US law.
Yeah, so it's very seedy. Like that's my view on it. There you go. You have.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I know it's
sucks.
not a Blizzard game. Stop getting on at me for not being a Blizzard game. Fine. I'm just saying. I said I wouldn't interact with chat either, but I just wanted to bring that up. Because,
You're just going back on all your words. Are you going to start encouraging kids to gamble?
Because gambling is wrong and it's immoral, and just because it pays my bills, whatever.
To be fair, just to play, like, I'm not condoning what these guys do in any way at all. Like, I think what they did was absolutely disgusting. Like, even if it was nothing to do with gambling, what they were doing is just wrong. And like you said, it's against the law. But you do have a slightly twisted view of gambling because of what you do for a living. You do see the worst side of it. Like, you just to play slight devil's advocate. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right.
There is a side to gaming, or gambling, I guess we should say, even though it's called
confusing
gaming
now.
in this country. There is a side to gambling, which is just a load of people that are on a night out that want to have some good fun and just go and they gamble. They take 50 quid and it's just like, if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. It doesn't matter. And there are plenty of people that enjoy it in a suitable way. Much like there are most people drink in a suitable way, but there are people that get addicted to alcohol and there are people that get addicted to drugs, although drugs aren't legal and you don't necessarily enjoy them in a suitable way. But you know what I'm getting at.
Drugs are bad. Oh my God, it's getting way too preachy. Jesus, my God. I mean, I cannot believe the tangents we've gone off on. Next week, we are talking only about Blizzard. And no snow references. No one go out and look about Scotland, Antarctic or something.
What if you start consistently getting to the third floor on Gungeon though?
Oh my God, well, we'll talk about that clearly. Wow, we got to the third floor on Gungeon. I wonder what that's like. Oh, dizzying heights. Sorry.
All right. Now, disgusting YouTube behavior aside, Hearthstone aside, I guess we could talk a little bit of World of Warcraft. How would you guys feel about talking a little bit of World of Warcraft?
Boo! Yeah, all right.
Yay.
So, Joe, you've been playing a crap ton of WoW this week. Why don't you tell the fine people what they've been trying to do, what you've been trying to do?
Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit. Well, I pre-ordered Legion. I've been trying not to look at Legion at all for ages, and then I caved and was a bit bored and was looking on MMO Champion and whatnot, and then started looking at videos, and now I've spoiled the whole thing. So I decided I would pre-order, and then because you get a free level 100, I decided I'd quickly make level 100. So I did that for a rogue, and then because of that, I was logged in, and then I started playing, and now I'm lost to WoW for a while. So I'm currently, I got full PvP gear, which only took like 2 days. I mean, everything's really easy at the moment because they've obviously towards the end of the expansion they add a bunch of catch-up mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, when I was
tons of honor
playing
now.
the arena, it took almost no time to get like good PvP.
Yeah, so I'm fully decked to PvP gear, and then now I'm just doing dailies in the new zone, Tanan Jungle, to get a mount, because I don't have any good mounts for some reason. It's one thing that I never bothered with, but now I want one. I want the Raven, whatever it is, Scourge Raven.
The one that you get from 150,000
Yeah.
crystals
Exactly. Yeah.
in
really cool.
Tanan Jungle.
And I want it, so I'm grinding.
And
for
Joe is Captain Grind.
Joe is the farmer, Farmer Joe.
Ooh,
I don't know. You don't have any of the cool mounts. Like I think I've got most of the ones that you got from doing challenges in Wrath of the Lich King, because that was the last time that I actually played a lot of World of Warcraft. Was probably be Wrath of the Lich King, which is like what 8 years ago now. That came out. Was it 2008? Wrath came out. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't quite as
Not that long.
not quite long. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, Wrath of the Lich King was the last time I played that much. I've got like the Frost Drake that you get from Ice Crown, and the Proto Drake, Rusted Proto Drake that you got from 10 Man Ulduar doing all the challenges and stuff. Because that kind of stuff I really like. I like those mounts that are a result of achieving something. Like I've always liked those ones. It was really cool, especially
like
back then.
for 100 hours.
Yeah, I prefer something that's kind of a little bit based on skill, but whatever.
I just
but they
have
were
lots
fun
of
to do.
silly mounts. That's about it. Zebras and rhinos and whatever random. All these crap mounts is all I've got.
I hadn't played. Yeah, but you say that. I hadn't played since Wrath, I don't think. I think I played right at the beginning of Cataclysm. I got Cataclysm, played at the very beginning I did like the first boss and the first raid, and then I stopped playing it. And at that point, then I didn't have. There was like only the amounts that you'd ground out and got for different things. And I didn't have many of them because I didn't have enough time to spend on doing that kind of thing when I was playing the game. And when I came back, like for this, playing a bit of Arena in this expansion, what's this one called? I don't even remember.
Warlords of Draenor.
Warlords, that's it. Because I was thinking Legion. Yeah, Warlords. And it's like, I go to Mount Up and I go, whoa, all these choices, where did these come? I didn't have these. It's like, I've got a weird bear thing. I've got all these things. I was like, this is pretty cool. And like, you're there going, oh, that's the crappy man. So it's like, I never had these. I had a horse.
I have my challenge mode Yeti. That's about it. But he can't fly. So that's the annoying thing. All ground mounts.
My favorite mount that I've got is the Armani Warbear.
Yeah, well, my one doesn't look any different from yours. I got a Warbear riding around on. Just because yours is like the big deal designer bear.
Like, so there was two. They were both rewards from doing troll.
ZF.
Yeah, Zolgurub. Zolfarak was a 5-man. Zolgurub and Zalaman, and there was two different ones, one from each of those, and they were both like a challenge. They were kind of cool. They were very cool, but I don't know. I did not like Warlords at all. Like, I played it, I raided. I think I cleared out the first raid within it, and I think I'm pretty much done with raiding. And I think being done with raiding was my problem with Warlords. Unless you wanted a raid, unless you wanted a PvP, there was literally not literally, but there was almost nothing else to do.
I did a few of when I was leveling, I did a few of the dungeons, or I did all the dungeons at least once, and none of them seemed particularly interesting. Like, I don't know, not that any dungeons I suppose are particularly interesting now compared to like how they used to be, but none of them seemed particularly fun. Just kind of running through them, like killing a few things. There's the bird one and all that, and I think there's probably some level capped ones that I didn't. But they didn't seem that interesting. I don't know. So,
I know what you're getting at. You might need to talk a little bit more directly to your microphone. You cut out a couple of times.
Sorry, I'm getting quiet because I'm slowly going into a sad place where I dream of Warcraft past.
Nostalgia for Warcraft past.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I know what you mean. Like the dungeons, they felt so trivial. It was just like you just kind of run through here, smash stuff. Don't really have to think about what you're doing. Maybe sidestep a couple of bits and bobs, and it was just that was it, really. Like the gold challenge modes were kind of cool. I know, Joe, you really enjoyed them, and you got all the gold. You've got all those cool transmog weapon things, haven't you?
Yeah, the challenge modes were definitely the most fun I think I've had in WoW. Just in terms of it was just like doing it with the same team and just getting better and better each time, and having to get the right gear and go farm that. And like, there was a lot of effort that went into it and research that went into it. And then I guess it's like, it's kind of like a mini version of raiding, I guess. But
yeah, it is. But like Mike said, I miss the dungeons of old. I mean, and specifically the Burning Crusade dungeons. Like, anyone that played Burning Crusade all talks like this, and they're all just like, when those dungeons were that hard and they were that challenging, like, you didn't need a challenge mode to go through them, because going through them in the first place was difficult.
Yeah,
and I get why,
really good.
I get why they've taken them out, was because the game required a ridiculous amount of coordination in order to do those dungeons, and they really was about 5 people working together. And it was very difficult to just find 4 random people and then successfully clear those dungeons out. You needed people that were, decent enough at the game in order to do it. And now, the more and more they're always trying to cater to the casual crowd, because the casual crowd is their numbers. Like, that's where their money's going to come from, and so that's what they've got to do. And that's actually why I'm really interested in Legion. Like, as much as I found Warlords very disappointing, I'm actually genuinely hyped for Legion at the moment, because the dungeons in Legion look like they could be something that is really good fun again. They've taken a lot of ideas from Diablo, and you're basically going to be able to level up your dungeons. You're going to be able to keep increasing the difficulty of your dungeons, so they keep dropping better and better gear, and you keep getting stronger and stronger, and then you can keep leveling up your dungeons again with these mythic keystones or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what they're called. I'm going to look it all up, because I think I'm probably going to do a video on this at some point. We'll see how you guys feel about some actual Warcraft content on the channel. You know, it might interfere with all that Overwatch, but we'll see what happens. But it looks cool. Like, you can just keep going into these dungeons and keep making them more difficult for you. As long as the challenge is fun and enjoyable, you can keep it a challenge for you as your gear gets better. So you just keep leveling it up. So it never gets to that point where it's just trivially running through it, smashing stuff, not really caring about it. And these keystones have effects on them, so they can change the way the dungeon functions very slightly, which is also very interesting. I'm looking forward to getting into it. So I am trying to level up a character on the Legion beta at the moment, just to get in there and get all the information that I can, because I'm quite curious to see how it all works.
Okay,
To be fair, like, I think out of all the expansions that I played, see, that's the thing. Like the game doesn't have to be your like forever game. Like, out of all the expansions I played, I think the last one was the most fun that I've had out of all the expansions. Like, at least for the first while. Like, the zones were really cool, and like these elite mobs that dropped gear and things, and even the garrison system was actually pretty fun at first until it turned grind.
Yeah, that is true. The first time you did your garrison, it was fun.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, is like, at what point? So we're talking about the new one, and we're saying, oh, you know, this is a really good idea. They're taking from Diablo. It's going to be good. You know, it's going to re-energize the game. I mean, the game still has lots of people playing. It's like, what point does Warcraft die? And I just thought to myself, when was the start of South Park Warcraft episode? When did that come out? And I just looked at how long ago do you reckon the South Park Warcraft episode was?
It was
6
a while
years
ago. I think it's more than that.
Go on quickly.
Oh,
6.
go on. 9 years.
10 in October.
10 in October.
You're like,
Wow.
oh my God, they were taking the piss out of this game 10 years ago.
No, but
There were 6-year-olds listening to this going, what are you on about? I
right.
don't remember.
how old is WoW now?
2006.
It will be 12 in November, I think.
October 4th, 2006.
Well,
2008 was Wrath of the Lich King.
Okay, so I was right about 8 years ago for Wrath of the Lich King.
It's just that it's been around so long, that game, and we always say, we look at it, it's like, at what point does something come along that replaces it? Like, why is it still there? I mean, I go back to it because it's like familiar and it's fun, and we've been playing it on and off for 13 years or whatever it is.
Almost 12. 2005. November 2005.
No,
Came
because
out.
they've kept it up to date and relevant, and the graphics still look amazing each expansion. They change it enough so that it's
Amazing
interesting
pushing it. I
again.
mean, you're pushing it with amazing.
I
Good.
think the graphics are really.
They're not amazing. Like, for the world of today, they're not amazing.
Have you tried it on Ultra? Like, it's like
I
some of
don't
the
know.
effects are really
I mean,
cool.
It's
I don't
got some good modern graphical effects in it, but the models and the game engine and everything is very dated. I know that they've improved the models somewhat.
I like the graphics, but I'm not even knocking them. I'm just saying that.
It is definitely dated. Like, there is some cool effects in there with like lighting effects and shadows and all that kind of stuff, which really does give it depth, and it does give it a good feel, which you need for that kind of game, because you need the immersion. Without the immersion, it doesn't suck you in, and the fact that its graphics are really out of date would be one of those things that would break it for you. But they do very well with what they have to work with. Are you laughing because I said doo-doo?
Of course I am.
Oh, for God's sake.
Like, if you compare it to things like Witcher and single player games, that's fair enough. But comparing it to 90% of other MMOs,
Yes,
like,
yes.
the graphics are like quality still. Like, if it came out today, you wouldn't be like, oh, they didn't put any effort into this game.
No. It's
No, true. But it is a AAA MMO, so you need to be comparing it to Final Fantasy XIV.
This looks
Which-
way better than Final Fantasy 14.
I don't know. Final
What?
Fantasy XIV looks better than World of Warcraft.
No way, no.
I think it does.
Yeah,
Go back and play it now. You might, like, I guess when it came out, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. But like, it really doesn't. Like, if you go look at the textures again and the characters and stuff, like, it's
If
really
it
not
wasn't,
that good.
If it wasn't for
Black Desert Online, on the other hand, had some pretty...
Oh yeah, well, Black
quality
Desert looked
graphics.
incredible. It was just a
Yeah.
shame it didn't have any of the features of MMO that I particularly enjoy. So, like rebindable keys that I can use. Stupid game. I still
tell
load
you,
it up every now and
stupid
again to see if they patched
left-handers.
it.
I tell you what, to like
Turn
move
it
this along,
mouse.
because I've got to go to work in 6 hours. So let's talk about the patch notes for Overwatch and then wrap it up, because I'm getting tired. Not to be too self.
Okay, fair enough. We will talk about the patch notes very much. We'll wrap it up.
We
And I will
can
work.
do general like complaints next week on graphics.
And I will. Well, we've got plenty of things to talk about, so like we'll just keep it going. I will find out a way to structure the show better, because at the moment we are a bit all over the place, and I need to tighten it up. I will figure this all out. All right, so yeah, a patch did drop today for Overwatch. As we covered at the start of the show, they did adjust some of the sudden death times on specific maps, which is kind of cool, but we've already talked about that. One of the more interesting things that we've got in the patch notes is that they fixed an issue where if you left and rejoined an in-progress competitive match, the game would still track the match as a loss in your placement match history and when determining the amount of skill rating you received for completing a match, even if your team won.
Yeah.
Which was a bit crappy. But apparently they've patched that and fixed that, which is some very good news. I mean, there isn't any changes in this patch note apart from what we've already discussed. It's all just bug fixes. There was a problem with the competitive patch that dropped that caused a problem with Mercy's Caduceus Staff Beam. It should be that if you quickly switch from the left mouse button to the right mouse button, you'd carry on channeling your beam on the same target. But that went away. If you changed mouse button whilst not looking at who you wanted to channel your beam onto, you would just lose your beam. Or target it on somebody new, which was not what it was supposed to do. And they have fixed that as well.
What about that picture that was all over the place, that sniper rifle?
That was nothing to do with the patch notes.
I know it's not, but
But that is a very good point.
Was this a hint?
So, well, everyone's been hinting at this idea, or I say everyone, Blizzard have been hinting at this idea of a sniper support for a little while. Or at least it's been out there, and that's what people that have been looking into these things have kind of figured out, is that there's a character called Sombra, which is likely going to be Pharah's mother, who is a sniper. You can see in all of the imagery that we have, is that this woman is definitely a sniper. And people have been thinking that she's some kind of support sniper. Now, they dropped an image earlier today on the Overwatch Twitter, which is a picture of a gun that looks very much like a sniper rifle. And then also in the picture is Mercy's Caduceus Staff and Soldier's healing beacon that he puts down. And there's arrows pointing from the staff and from the beacon sort of into this sniper rifle, kind of implying that this technology has been built into this gun.
Nice.
And then there is 2 comments, one from Torbjorn saying, as discussed, this is the proposed rifle that could be equipped by medics in the field. Despite what my esteemed colleague will surely suggest, the application of her biotic technology is only intended to be used for healing. And then Mercy chips in and says, while Torbjorn has, as ever, put forth a very clever design for his latest weapon, I would like to remind everyone that my intention when agreeing to the development of different biotic delivery mechanisms was to save the lives of Overwatch agents and others in need of medical aid. With this latest proposal, it is clear to me that we are on a slippery slope to modifications that will inevitably result in a weaponized version of this technology. Something that I have been completely opposed to from the beginning.
Mercy has a sidearm. Like, she couldn't stop winning. She's like, I only heal people apart from when I press 2 and then I shoot them.
And she's helping people to kill other people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, yeah, I know, I'm just healing him. I know he's smashing someone else's face in with a big hammer.
It's not my fault.
But that's not my fault. I'm just keeping him alive. That's all I can do. What can I do? Right? My hands are tied.
He's losing health. I'm clicking my buttons.
Massive hypocrite. I mean, I knew I never liked her. I knew that's why I liked Lucio.
She's like, yeah, get in there. Kill them all.
So I guess this sounds like you have like some kind of sniper rifle thing where you can kind of snipe down a soldier type AoE AoE heal effect.
I don't know. There's a lot of wild speculation going around at the
Yeah.
moment. Like some people are saying like aimed
And I'm
healing.
joining in.
Aimed healing, that would be pretty cool. I guess that would be Borderlands style. You have to point your gun at your ally to heal them.
You have to
Well,
shoot your teammate.
surely the soldier thing leans towards the whole AoE thing though.
You would shoot a remote healing field. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's not as powerful. Or even then, I suppose it just depends on the cooldown and your
Well, it would
aim.
be very cool. Well, you got to remember this is their gun. This is their weapon. So it's likely going to be something they can regularly shoot out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I reckon it will do damage as well. Like Mercy's going to be upset because it's going to do some damage as well. Because there's no point of having it is nice having the whole sniper rifle thing. Because I suppose you get to be right back behind your lines, sniping out the healing, but there's going to be a massive delay, and you're not in there. You're not a massive delay, I suppose, but you're not in there being able to get that heal off really quickly. What if you lose line of sight? Obviously, the further away you are, the easier it is to lose the line of sight. So then that will become really unreliable if you also can't do some sniping. And I not necessarily Widowmaker headshot kill sniping, but maybe some chunky damage you can do while you're also throwing out some heals.
It might be.
Yeah.
You might have to hit the enemies, snipe them with left click, and then it would charge your right click or your shift or something.
You've got to hit them, then you can heal. Shoot and heal,
It
shoot
might be
and
something
heal.
like that.
That would be kind of cool. That would be difficult. It might be difficult to pull off. I mean, there is a big problem in Overwatch at the moment where the supports are very, very limited. There's only 4 supports, which is fine, but only 3 of them are healers, and only 2 of them are viable at the moment because Zenyatta's just too damn squishy. You can play Zenyatta, plenty of people do. There's not saying that you can't pick him up and play a game with him, but generally at high level, you're going to have Mercy and Lucio pretty much on every team, apart from the few situations where you might replace that Lucio with Symmetra, or on King of the Hill where people like to run 2 Lucios. But Mercy's Resurrect just dominates the meta so much because it's so strong, such a powerful ultimate, and it charges so quickly. So
yeah, I
it's
mean,
going to
that's
be
going to get
interesting.
nerfed because that is too strong. At some point, that's going to get nerfed.
I don't know.
hard.
It's been like this for a long time, and it hasn't been nerfed.
Why hasn't it been nerfed? I don't understand. It's how strong it is. I suppose it's the whole thing is you just kill the Mercy and then they never get to res. But
Well, it has
Yeah.
been nerfed, and I guess they and then they're
That's
still
true.
going to realize it's too strong.
That is true. Yeah, I don't know if you know, Martin. It used to be map wide.
whoa.
It was so-
during closed beta, it was map wide. They reduced it down to 15 meters. I think during the Christmas break, when the game went away and came back in February, I think that's when they did it. It used to be map wide. Mercy would res in the spawn with her ultimate up after her whole team got wiped. Just boop, push her button, whole team back up, no matter where they are.
I guess what they want to do, though, I guess what they're aiming at is they want to make her, since she is the one that is pretty much heal. You don't really do any damage. You do your damage boost, but I mean, I know you do sometimes whip out your pistol, but you're really there for the healing. It's not like Lucio where you still get to boot people off the edge or do a bit of damage, bit of shooting here and there. With Mercy,
Lucio's there for his utility. It isn't really his healing that much. As much as he can heal, and he can burst out an AoE heal, and that is amazing, and it's great. And it is one of the reasons he's used. But the speed boost is that's what's so powerful from him. His ultimate and his speed boost, and both of them together is just insanely good.
But the problem is that you have Mercy where people don't want to just heal people because you want to play a shooting game, you want to shoot people, and that's what people want to do. So you kind of have to make the buzz come from doing that really, really strong ultimate. Do you feel like that's why they made it so good? It's you get to do this, and this is what you're doing, this is what you're here for. And you do that, and you can feel and you know yourself as I won us this game because you guys all suck and died, but then I saved the game for us. Does that make sense?
That's a good idea.
I mean, that's how I think they were thinking about it when they were planning it. And they were like, no one's going to want to play it. This healer is going to be integral, but no one will want to play it because no one wants to play it.
I don't know,
in general, I don't know one. I'm
not necessarily saying that you're wrong, although I kind of am. But like the game that you play on Mercy is actually a fun game. It's not, like you say, it's not really a shooty game. You do occasionally put your pistol out. If you've got nothing else to do, you pull your pistol out and you shoot at a Reinhardt shield, or just see if you can get some poke damage to charge that ultimate just a little bit faster if there's nobody that needs any healing around you. But yeah, generally you're just healing people. But you have this 1.5 second Guardian Angel ability that allows you to just leap around the map. And actually playing Mercy is this kind of like fun game of, holy shit, I need to stay alive while everybody tries to zerg me down. It's a very different game to the normal point your gun in the right direction and shoot people. And it's a game where you very much need your team to understand how they do that for you, how they help you stay alive.
I agree with what you're saying. What I mean is that I'm talking about from a design point of view for Blizzard when they were first thinking about the game.
No. I get what you're getting at, but I more just meant like that is a fun experience on its own, and I'm pretty sure they must have designed it like that as opposed to thinking. Because it wasn't until much later on that they made it so Mercy's ultimate could get play of the game. So it was only about halfway through the beta that they changed it so that they started taking into all these different things like Lifesaver, like Sharpshooter, and I can't remember what the other one was. But just on top of just big damage plays, it's now Mercy can get play of the game with using her ultimate, which they did put in there, and I'm sure they put it in there is because they wanted people to enjoy playing these supports and get that same feeling that you get from getting those big play of the game on a damage dealer.
So, Mercy's your favourite support to play, isn't?
Yeah, I generally pick up. I don't know about. I do really enjoy playing Lucio as well, and I quite often playing the Zenyatta because it's a support where you actually get to chuck out some good damage, and he's a lot of fun to play if you can actually stay alive long enough to do anything. But I mostly pick up Mercy because I do enjoy playing her, and she is by far the strongest support if you're only going to have one support in your attack defend team. If you're on a King of the Hill map, then you want to pick up Lucio pretty much every time.
Yeah.
The interesting thing with Mercy, like I think a lot of characters are fun straight away, but I found with Mercy that she isn't really that interesting at the beginning, but the better you get with her, and when you stop having to, like when your muscle memory kicks in for her, and you're not thinking about, I have to press this to get over to this person or that, and you're just kind of flying around the place basically without thinking about it, then she suddenly becomes a lot more fun, and you start seeing a lot more of what's going on around you and being able to avoid things and keep people up a lot more naturally than when you start in the game. And she just gets more fun the better you get with her, I think.
No, definitely. I can agree with that.
What about the idea that's just like in chat about going to 75%, like when you get rezzed? If you only
it doesn't res you with full health.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree that she needs a nerf. I think this is one of those things where we just need more options. Her ultimate seems so game dominating at the moment because there isn't other options. As I said, if you're playing on King of the Hill, you don't want Mercy, you want Lucio. Like
that's not that you want Lucio because you're all packed together tight AoE.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Her ultimate isn't so bonkersly overpowered that you're going to pick her when Lucio is better just because her ultimate's that strong. That's what I mean. Like, if you only have one support on a King of the Hill map, you're going to want it to be a Lucio. All right, someone might not always pick it. They might like playing Mercy, and they're going to play Mercy, and then because your team's already got a support, nobody else is going to pick one. I mean, that's going to happen a lot. The same thing happens with Zenyatta as well. But if you want to be as optimum as possible, then you want to pick up the Lucio. But Mercy, this is why this support is so interesting to me, is to see what they do, and I'm glad that the first hero that they're possibly bringing out next is going to be a support hero, because it is an area where they desperately need more options. Because at the moment it's just dominated by two heroes, and since you pretty much in a try-hard team, you want two supports, so you pretty much see both of those heroes in every single game. Obviously, that doesn't always happen because you very rarely get into a game where you get two supports. But I'm talking about like the Overwatch that you watch when you start watching it at a competitive level. you start seeing the same two heroes in every single game. You start getting a little bit bored of it. It would be nice to see some other options, and also it would be nice to have some other options to play. And it'll be really interesting to see what this hero's ultimate is and how it measures up to the power of Mercy's.
Yeah, it'll have to be pretty interesting.
I think we'll have to wait and see what they do. I am looking forward to it. I'm excited that we're possibly getting a new hero sometime this summer. I'm guessing that's why. Because this is the biggest hint that they've just outright released. Like normally, all this stuff.
The other stuff was like vague. This is like people have been saying it, but no one really knows. This is like everyone was like, "Yeah, high five, we got this right." Yeah. This is confirmation of what we already knew, but this is direct confirmation. Yeah. This isn't stuff that people have data mined or stuff that people have figured out. And they can't string this out until BlizzCon. Like this will have to happen.
No, they can't string this out until BlizzCon. I'm pretty sure they've got a good few heroes planned at the moment, and we'll have to wait and see what they all are. But this one's going to come soon. I think that is a good point to end the show. We've got far more to talk about, but if you want to hear us talk about it, you'll have to tune in next week.
Yay, next week. Woo!
When we are actually going to try and do this on a Monday. Is that good with you guys?
Yeah, Monday. Well, I was there on this one. Last 2 Mondays, I've been sitting here going, where's everybody?
Yeah, I know. I'm just checking. Is Monday good with you guys?
Yes.
Monday's good.
All right. Well, we're going to try Monday, 8:30 British
8:30.
time.
Okay, yeah.
Is that good? Or would you prefer 8? Is 8 going to work?
I could probably get away with 8. Yeah, I can get away with 8.
Well, as early as you guys can, basically.
Right. I mean, it's as early as Martin can, really.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Summer holidays, I don't reckon I can beat 8, really.
8's good. All right, so we'll be back 8 o'clock live. Well, 8 o'clock British time. I'm not going to say British summer time because it is at the moment, but it might not be in a few months' time. 8 o'clock. Sometimes I wish there's a part of my brain that would just be like, stop talking. You don't need to say these things. Just stop the words coming out of your mouth. But unfortunately, that part of my brain does not exist. Anyway, I'm going to try and finish the show. 8 o'clock, Mondays, British summertime.
But
British summertime.
But not when it's Greenwich Mean Time.
Because it's +1 or something, and it's Central European time.
Yeah, Central European summertime -1.
+1.
Yeah.
No, -1. We're -1 on them.
No,
8 o'clock UK time, Mondays, twitch.tv/cynicalnerds. Come and join us. I have my chat working finally, so hopefully next time I can take advantage of that a little bit better. Don't forget to
join us when the sun is at the 7th zenith.
Also, Max, what?
What?
You should thank everyone on the Patreon that you forgot to do on the last show.
I know, I haven't finished that yet.
Oh my God, if I don't remind you afterwards, you'll be like, oh, I forgot to do that.
All right.
I remembered. I was going to do it anyway.
Fair enough. So as Martin said, we'd like to thank everyone that's supporting us on the Patreon. I have now changed it. It is no longer patreon.com/unstableportal. It is now patreon.com/cynicalnerds. And basically, if you are watching all of the videos that we've been trying to put out on the YouTube channel, if you are one of those people that likes to run ad block and feels a little bit guilty about it, then you can go onto the Patreon and donate just $1 a month. $1 a month is more than you watching the videos that are in ad revenue in a month anyway, as an individual person. So that would be huge. Of course, if you want to carry on enjoying everything for free, you can carry on doing that too.
And if you're sponsoring the birds, then stop it right now and give us the money.
Yeah, screw the birds.
They don't deserve it.
Forget the RSPCB. I guess that's what they're called.
Yeah, RSPCB. Never get any love, they don't. Do you know why? Screw the birds. Oh my God, what's the whale score?
Oh my God. Anyway, we're going to end this podcast. Follow me at Totally Futile. Follow Martin at Dustus Wins and follow Joe at Marsh_Joe. And of course, the YouTube channel, if you don't know, is youtube.com/cynicalnerds. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Da 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 da.